Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Nick Rop, this is 4-color Punishing Bant. This deck comes directly from the US Eternal Weekend. Nick played against this deck in round 5 of that event, piloted by Jesse Hefner. I'm not intimately familiar with Jesse or his work, but it is a name I recognized from the Star City circuit in like the mid-2010s, and I have a strong association of Knight of the Reliquary and Deathrite Shaman when I think of Jesse. That's just like something that's floating around in my head. I don't even know how true it is. But we've got Knight of the Reliquary spotted competing against fully powered, well, not, I guess, after the first 4 bans, but it still had a Doom in it. Reanimator, Mystic Forge, and Nadu in that tournament. 2 of those cards and decks are banned now. Reanimator still exists, but it's a bit slower. Jesse had a phenomenal record versus Mystic Forge combo in that event. I looked at the melee results, and Nadu simply doesn't exist anymore, which is great for any fair deck. If we go back a few years in Legacy and think of Strifopile with the Brewers Strifo, he was known for playing non-white 4-color soup decks, featuring the powerful interaction of Dak Faden and Punishing Fire. This kind of functions like Bazaar of Baghdad with Squee Goblin Nabob in vintage decks. Grove of the Burn Willows, tap it for a red, opponent gains a life. When they gain a life, you pay a red and return Punishing Fire to your hand. Very old interaction that, I don't know, if you picked up Magic in the last 5 years, you may not even know that this exists. But it used to define Legacy. It interacts well with Dak Faden. If your opponent's any sort of little creature deck, like an Elves or a Stoneforge Mystic, or even if you could get the lock-in versus Cephalid Breakfast, they'd probably struggle to win through that. We got Knight of the Reliquary in here. This thing is a tutor toolbox. It also hits like a truck at some point. When your opponent resolves one of these on turn 3, it's usually like a 3-3 or a 4-4, and then you're like, oh no, Wasteland, oh no, Karakas, oh no, Bajuka Bog, oh no, whatever. And then it suddenly becomes, oh no, a 10-10. And this thing gets so big so fast. And those backed up by all of our favorite Bant cards. We've got Uro, Endurance, Plow, Brainstorm, Ponder, Prismatic Ending, Force of Will, all those things. A spicy one of stock up, you love to see it. This is just a deck full of cards that people with class and taste like to play. And Nick was so enamored with it when it beat him at Eternal Weekend that he turned around and submitted it to me. So Nick, thanks for sending this in. Jesse, thanks for putting it into the world. Let's go play it. I am on the play in round 1 versus Ella1, who is pretty universally a combo player. I also strongly associate him with Green Sun Zenith strategies like Nadu Elves. He top 8 at Eternal Weekend last year with that, and then beating me in the top 8 of all people. Fuck you for that, by the way. But he's also been on Cradle Control in the past. I have not played against him since the bans. So Punishing Fire, Grove of the Burn Willows is here. My goodness, I hope that he's on some elf deck. Let me make sure that my fetch lands actually get this. Is there a Tundra in the deck? Oh no. Or a Taiga in the deck. Did I blow it? Oh wait, the Grove of the Burn Willows taps for red. We're fine. But you need a red to cast the Punishing Fire and a red to bring it back. It's actually only Volcanic Island for fetchables, and Windswept Teeth doesn't get that. So got a little bit of a situation to solve here. But I'm still into it. Oh, we'll hire it go. I guess if I really wanted to just slap my energy on the table, I would have passed off Grove of the Burn Willows. Okay, so we're playing Eldrazi. The full sellout over here. I want a Wasteland, but I also want a Brainstorm, but I want to shuffle the Brainstorm. All right, I'm just going to Wasteland and then attack for 1. We get Brainstorm next turn. Punishing Fire, not super likely to be great against Eldrazi. It does kill Glaring Fleshraker, though. All right, it's Brainstorm time. Definitely getting rid of the Pyroblast. I found access to Volcanic Island if I want. Boy, caramba, that's bad. That's a lot of lands. And I will attack for 1 again. I'll be so bummed out if I get Thought-Knot Seared and it takes the 1 of Punishing Fire out of the deck. This would be a great deck to just shove a Knight of the Reliquary against and have a gigantic creature. Thought-Knot Seer. I'm losing my Punishing Fire. Life is pain. What do I want? I have blue already. I have every color. Who cares? All right. I'm going to get Savannah. And I do have to do this now, or else they just take the plow. Hopefully I draw something better than Punishing Fire. Nope. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. I had the Grove Fire ready to go, and then it's in a matchup where it doesn't matter, and the one-of got exiled. Hell yeah. Okay. Is that my Lotus Petal, comrades? Okay. Well, I don't need Grove of the Burn Willows anymore, because the only card that interacts with it is gone. Stealing Lotus Petal is actually just killing Lotus Petal, which I'm not that interested in doing. But I'm very interested in looting away 2 of these lands. Let's get Fated. I will target myself to draw 2, discard 2. Prismatic Ending. Right, I'm just double checking that there's nothing else to do with this punishing, or this Grove of the Burn Willows. There's really not. I'm not casting Pyroblast in this matchup. Okay. I can discard this for basically free, and then their colored sources matter sometimes, but they didn't play Linebreaker last turn, and they could have. Or no, does that cost red colorless 1? So it's not just red. Yeah, okay. So they actually can't. Do I want a second Hierarch? If I'm not going to cast Hierarch this turn, which I don't think I am, then I think I don't want it at all. All right. And his 2 lands, Prismatic Ending the Lotus Petal. I might regret that if they draw Chalice of the Void, but if this cuts them off any of their colored spells, I love it. I've currently played around Thought-Knot Seer by having no cards in my hand. All right, colored mana exists anyway. And Linebreaker cleanly kills Dak. Sucks to suck me. That's alright. A Knight of the Reliquary still shows up and smushes this board. Deck full of powerful cards. Yeah! There's that boy. Got that big Chungus. Obviously, Kozilek's Command just smokes that and it doesn't matter. It can just exile it straight up or manipulate the number of lands in my graveyard. But if they don't have Kozilek's Command specifically, you're in trouble. The Battle Mage could bounce it, buy them a little bit of time. All right, fair enough. This is a hit for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go to 11, then I'm going to fetch to 10. Going to get one of the Surveil lands. I'd love to just entomb an Uro for free here. That would be great. I'm going to get Meticulous Archive because I want more white, just in case. Force of Will, no thank you. Big Rips. Oh, that's kind of a big rip. Okay, white, colorless, green. Knight of the Rel's in. I'm not going to attack with Noble Hierarch, which might be suspicious, but I actually do have a spell. Another land. We're moving to combat. Just going to fire in on my boy. No. Got him running scared. I'll get the other Surveil land now. Hedge Maze. Noble Hierarch, no thank you. So the cool thing about this Knight of the Reliquary is they're just dead in 2 hits. And I have a blocker back. My things I could tutor are Wasteland, which does not seem important here. I don't think that's the problem with what they've got going on. Bang. This is what I was talking about. This thing's just a fucking 9/9. Buckle up, nerd. I don't think Caracas is important to my game plan, and I could draw Brainstorm. Oh no, Eldrazi Obligator, that's awesome. Alright, yeah, that steals my Knight of the Reliquary, and there's nothing I can do about it. But they only have 1 land in the graveyard. It's not a 9/9 for you. Oh, they can make it bigger, but I can make it smaller. What fun we're having. Alright, Linebreaker targets itself. You get to attack with all your things. Endurance. To target my opponent, because it actually does affect combat here. And then my blocks. I'm taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now. Knight represents the most damage, but only if they wasteland themselves. Oh wait, 2, 3. Oh no, I didn't count the 2 from the Knight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Here I'm taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to 2. And then they're dead on the backswing to my Knight, I hope. All right, I'm at 2. Am I dead somehow? Fleshraker plus Kozilek's Command. Knight's back, 8/8 to Fairy. Well, let's find out if you've got anything. White, blue, colorless. If there is a Kozilek's Command, I want to know about it. I'll play Caracas and attack. It's exactly 8. Wow, Knight of the Reliquary. Yeah, kind of Eldrazi's whole thing is they're just the biggest creatures around, but that's not true sometimes. Wandering Emperor, Consigned to Memory, these are coming in. Pyroblast comes out, easy. Spell Pierce, pretty bad. Things like Meltdown and Force of Vigor, like if they have Chalice of the Void, I don't really want to play against that card, but it's pretty bad otherwise. Wasteland locking them with Loam is something that I can do. What are my outs to Chalice otherwise? I have 2 endings, 4 forces, 2 Teferis. Deck can steal Chalice, but that doesn't help. That's just a funny joke. Okay, so we've got one more cut to make. I definitely want all 4 of these cards in. Force of Will's tricky because it's one of your best cards if they don't have Cavern of Souls, and they're your worst if they do. Do I need the Punishing Fire? It always works with Dak. It can kill Clearing Fleshraker, and we saw lots of small creatures in this deck. We saw Obligator main, the Battle Mage is a 2/2. I only have to pick up fire once in a turn cycle to kill Obligator or Thought-Knot Seer. That's a 5 mana play, but I mean, if we get there, we get there. Okay, these are my changes. Let's go. All right, one of these hands that's pretty good if they don't have Chalice and pretty bad if they do. I'll keep it. Uh-oh. Good news. Just got to pass. Are there any basic lands in this deck? There are not. There probably shouldn't be with all the things we're trying to do. That means it barely matters what fetch land I play here. Fleshraker. I think I want to Swords to Plowshares this. All right, I have to absorb this turn now. By not countering that, because they, with Lotus Petal plus the spawn, they could Thought-Knot Seer me, which I don't want to be happening. All right, that's a hell no from me, dog. I'm going to counter Kozilek's command. Oh, geez, the Tundra's in my hand. All right, well, that's good to know. I'll get Tropical Island because I need a blue here. Consign the command. They got 1 spawn. They could still play a 3-drop here. I can also untap and plow the Raker. Oh, wow. Let's just keep drawing the best cards that I can draw. Please and thank you. Get that out of here. Pass. Wasteland plays around Consign. I'm not even going to float mana. There's nothing to bluff here. I guess if they had Lotus Petal Haste Creature, I would have regretted that. Okay, I'm just going to play Flooded Strand and pass with Consign available, and I can Brainstorm in the end step. 3 cards over there. Spending lots of mana on something. I'd like to Brainstorm in response and then counter this. Or I could just save my Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm just going to Consign this, actually. And then fetch a Surveil land, and I still have Fetch Brainstorm available if I want it. We got Hedge Maze here. Savannah. Do I want a land? I kind of do, yeah. I'll put that on top. Jam my 6/6 Knight of the Reliquary. Start to push back here. 5/5. Oh yeah, it's a 2/2 at base. It's not Murktide Regent. All right, 5/5 Knight unfortunately does die to Dismember. They can also Kozilek's command it. Yep, Kozilek's command. Scry 4, Exile Knight. Fair enough. 3 top, 1 bottom. Terrifying. This is why I kept the extra land. Noble Hierarch. I'm going to Brainstorm. Lots of Noble Hierarchs. Do I have another fetchable green source in the deck? There's 1 Trop. There is a Savannah. Hedge Maze enters tapped. I'm trying to figure out if I could get these 2 Hierarchs into play. All right, yeah, I'm going to get rid of all this. Fetch. Maybe playing 1 Hierarch and fetching the Surveil land was better, but I do want to deal damage to my opponent. And the Hierarchs do attack. They don't attack as hard as that, though. All right, Wasteland. Played around it with the Hierarchs. Okay, I am on a 2-turn clock here. What's up, squad? Okay, is it better damage for me to play Noble Hierarch, Endurance, Attack, or attack for 2 with Hierarch now? This is actually math to be done. So they go to 12 if I attack this turn, and then I can attack for 6 next turn and chump with 1 Hierarch. Okay, yeah, the Hierarch having like pseudo haste because Exalted affects the board immediately means I want to attack this turn. Smasher getting another swing. I'll go to 5. End of turn, cast Endurance. And I will target them because we've seen their graveyard mattering in terms of stealing my Knight of the Reliquary. Whoa, baby. The game has changed. Now I don't even need to chump with a Noble Hierarch to change the clock. Uro spikes Wasteland, you don't say. I'm going to waste that Eldrazi Temple right now. If you want mana, it's going to hurt. That's the deal. All Noble Hierarch, we're just in a straight up damage race here. Do they have the Kozilek's command? Of course they do, they always do. This gets to exile Uro and Endurance. But if they're using it purely defensively, it could be worse. Maybe it's Dismember, that would be great. But no, it's an Eldrazi spell. Okay, they're scrying X and exiling Endurance, which means Uro is still there. 4 to the bottom. Okay, pass the turn, go to 3, play Uro next turn, cross my fingers, believe in the cleave. Oh no, not colored mana. Let's just unlock a line breaker that's been in their hand the whole game. Oh, Obligator. Does this have haste? Yes, it does. All right, that's enough to win. GG. All right. That was tight, though. Right down to the stretch. Big creatures are busted. Okay, we've seen the One Ring now. Does that mean I want to change something like Teferi that's kind of mediocre into an Force? Or Endurance is not blue. The One Ring is dackable. Yeah, I think an Endurance has to go, and we'll play like that. Uh-oh. The 4-color mana base got my ass here. I mean, this hand is... If this was Tundra, this is exactly what I want in life, but it's not, so I'm going to mulligan. All right, let's play. I'm going to keep and bottom Grove of the Burn Willows. I could see bottoming Force, but I have to have faith that there's blue cards in my deck somewhere. My opponent also went to 6. I appreciate that. This Endurance just insisting on being part of the game. It was relevant game 1. It demanded an answer game 2, and then I boarded one out and there's still one in my opening hand game 3. Okay, Windswept Heath is one of the worst fetch lands in the deck, so I'm going to use that first because I have to get green anyway. We got Trop and play this Noble Hierarch, then pass. Actually pretty good versus a Chalice this game. Not that good versus a turn 1 banger. Though I can block this thing with Endurance next turn, the classic Endurance showing up, making itself relevant. I would love to draw a card that allows me to Wasteland them this turn, though. Okay, I'm still going to Wasteland this turn. I can answer the Line Breaker with Endurance on a future turn. I'm just going to hope this mulligan stumbles a little bit under Wasteland. I can take 8 from this thing before I can remove it. If opponent has another Eldrazi they can add, which gets haste and doubles the buff from Line Breaker, that's not great for me. But I think using my life total as a resource and trying to roll here is okay. They might just waste me back, and then what? Then I'm taking 12 from the Line Breaker instead of 8. I can still handle that. A no land pre-combat, that doesn't actually mean anything. I guess it means that the Line Breaker is not buffing a second creature this turn, so that means something. Wasteland, sure. Right, I'm going to float a blue, make them think. Okay. Did you think? Did it work? Uro. I like that one, especially when I'm trying to stabilize versus a 3-power creature. It's also blue if it has to be, though I really don't hope. I hope it doesn't have to be. I am at 7. I'm going to fetch one of the Surveil lands here. So it should probably be Hedge Maze, because double green isn't necessary for everything I'm trying to do. Oh. I like that one. All right, I'm just going to pass with no play here. This means Endurance can just block Line Breaker, or I could plow Line Breaker, or I could force something, block something, and have plow still in my hand on the other side. It all depends on what my opponent does with their mana here. Okay, choosing to cast a spell instead of Wasteland me. That's annoying. All right, draw a card. I could just play Endurance right now. If I force this, I lose Uro anyway. I could also just plow. All right. Yeah, I'm actually just going to plow right now. And, okay, this happens. The mana denial is a little rough, but I'm going to fetch the other Surveil land here. Scry to the bottom. I fetch the other Surveil land, looking for any land here that casts Uro and gets me off the ground. Hell yeah. Karakas, I'll take it. Karakas, Uro. I do think this is worth getting in the mix here. It's even better if it draws a blue card. Dual land, I'll take it. Karakas does not cast Uro, which sucks. If they wasteland any of my non-Karakas lands here, I am 2 mana away from hitting Uro. Another haste asshole. This will put me to 4. They waste my green. I'm in a lot of trouble here, because that makes it really hard to cast Endurance. All right, I got to my turn. Interesting. All right. So now I have Endurance, Force blue card. Okay, I'm just going to pass with Endurance up to block and Force of Will to back it up. Fetch plus Force puts me to 2. The Cavern, no! All right. Well, Cavern doesn't make Kozilek's Command uncounterable, which is the card they could be representing here. Fetch for Savannah. Cast Endurance. Target my opponent's graveyard in case they steal one of my Knight of the Reliquaries again. Block. Okay, nothing happened. They're casting a One Ring. Jam on, baby. Big turn to draw a blue or green source right now. Get this Uro into the battlefield. Oh my god, I'm at 1. Give me that shit. Okay, I can fetch blue or green here. I have lots of white. I have no red. Do I care about Punishing Fire? Dak Vaden. I think I'd rather have my core colors extremely stable. So green, green, blue, blue. Yeah, that works. All right, Savannah. Blue, blue, green, green. I play Life from the Loam, but not anything else. Oh, and Knight of the Reliquary. So I care about lands in my graveyard, but not other things. Okay, if they have Eldrazi Obligator, I can bounce Uro with Karakas. If they waste Karakas before combat, I think I'm just going to take my chances and leave Uro in play. Yeah, there's no Mystic Sanctuary, there's no Tameo, there's nothing else that cares about the graveyard except the Punishing Fire itself. Right, they are obligating my Uro. Unfortunately, when this resolves, they pay the mana. So this attack puts me to 1. Oh, this is a thrilling battle. If I had the red, if I got the Volclaster, and I could actually punish this Obligator. A Ponder. What does that do? I'm going to Ponder first and see if I find a removal spell and then make informed decisions. Wowie zowie. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Everyone settle down. What does this do? Wandering Emperor plus Force in my hand. In this Cavern of Souls is a beating. I could just exile Obligator, gain 2 life right now. The mana doesn't work out in a way that I can Uro into Consign to Memory. These cards have to be good, though. All right, I'm going to go Force, Consign, Emperor, no shuffle. Hope they can't add 1 damage to the board. All right, I'm passing the turn. The Obligator is currently untapped, but it'll have to tap to get into combat. Just any trigger off of a Fleshraker, any haste, any +1/+1/+1 doesn't matter because the attacker's going to die. Oh no, don't tap mana. Please play Chalice of the Void. Please play the One Ring. Please play anything that's not a creature. All right. I don't normally wish for my opponent to have the One Ring, but I will take it here. I mean, I'm going to lose to the One Ring, but I am going to get another turn, and I'm going to get to play really cool cards while I do it. No attack. Oh yeah, they're playing around Endurance. That makes sense. It's not what I have, though. I will make a 2/2 Samurai, and I'm going to draw Consign to Memory and Force of Will here. Blue, green, colorless. Karakas is my colorless land. I'm not bouncing the Uro this turn. I draw Force of Will. Can't play stuff. Make another 2/2 Samurai. They can waste me off of Uro and off of Consign to Memory here. This Wasteland's been in play a long time, though, but now Ring is cranking. If they needed that Wasteland for mana before, I don't think that's true anymore, unless they're actually trying to get up to Ayavugan, in which case, I salute your efforts. Glaring Fleshraker. I have to counter this. You actually can't cast Glaring Fleshraker with Cavern of Souls while Ayavugan's in play, because there's no place to put the colored mana from Cavern. It just costs 1 colorless. It's one of the only spells I can actually counter here. Battle Mage deletes one of my Samurai forever. This doesn't have haste naturally. There's lots of sequences of 2 cards, though, that kill me here. Don't put red in the pool. Okay. That one does kill me. Yeah, I was going to die to every version of this hand. And I don't have a Swords to Plowshares. That thing tramples. GG's. What a battle. On to the next round. That matchup was actually really interesting and exciting, except for the One Ring existing. Let's go. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw versus my podcast co-host Bryant Cook, known for playing the Epic Storm. I'm going to mulligan this hand that does not interact with that at all. This hand is kind of mid also, but I am going to try it because Pyroblast lining up versus Echo of Eons is kind of a weird, surprising thing that might get him. I really wish I was on the play for this hand, though. But Epic Storm doesn't have to be a fast deck. It can also be a slow deck, and we never know. I am going to lead on Volk here. Time is my friend in this matchup, at least with the configuration of my hand. I need him to take his time shoving. Gamble. All right, let's see an unprotected Echo. Discarded Burning Wish. I hope you needed that. Okay. I don't know if giving him life matters. They don't have ad nauseum lines, and Peer into the Abyss kills from any life total above 1. All right, there's LED. Double LED. And he's showing Veil of Summer here. Mox Opal, Mox Opal. Just don't have Veil and I'm okay. Chrome Mox. 2 cards left. Yeah, there's the Veil. All right. I'm very dead. Gamble Entombs an Echo of Eons that I can't counter because of the Veil of Summer. And I just have to hope that the Echo fails, I guess. Spell Pierce. Hell yeah. All right, let's hope for a whiff. He still has his land drop. Spent the Chrome Mox for Storm rather than having a mana source still kicking around in the deck. Just build Storm and you don't have to redraw it. Win-win. The third Mox Opal of the turn. I'm dead to any tutor here. Runic Hellkite in the deck. Let's go. Another Echo. All right, we're taking another spin. Let's go. Fresh 7s all around. Nothing I can do except watch and hope. Thoughtseize, sure. You can look at my hand. It's not good. I took the stock up. Undercity Sewers. Left a card on top. Ooh, a whiff. All right. Yeah, the Thoughtseize might have been because he just has so much mana and resources that it doesn't matter. Or it could be because he's going to have to pass the turn. And it appears the turn pass is the answer. Okay, I'm going to put this Spell Pierce in my hand because it's literally not nothing. And then I'm going to fetch and ponder again. Got a Tundra here. Ponder again, looking for a better counterspell. Didn't find one. I could exile Mox Opal. He kept a card on top, though. That's tough. And because Grove doesn't tap for any relevant colors, that's not great. I actually am going to keep this, though. If I get another turn, all of my decisions are filtered through the lens of if I get another turn, which may or may not happen, and probably won't. So just going to try to do my best here, which is all any of us can do. Dark Ritual. Gamble. Discarded Taiga. Probably didn't gamble for that. Chrome Mox. Are we going to hardcast Echo? That sucks. That leaves... I could... What does Spell Piercing this do? It builds Storm, but taps me out of blue. And it costs him 2 mana. Yeah, that's not where I want to be. All right, new hands. Let's go. Spell Pierce still here. My hand is basically exactly the same as before the Echo. LED is another Echo. This is the last main deck Echo. 2 have been cast already. 1's in the Burning Wish board. Ritual. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is fine because Brainstorming into Force is my out at this point. Spell Pierce is not going to do it, and I have 2 Brainstorms. There is no green mana showing right now for Veil. Took the Pierce. And this is this lethal regardless? So Storm is 9 right now. Oh, this only does 18. So this would put me to 1. And then what? then I can't force for the rest of the turn. All right, I'm at 1. You can Echo, put that Tendrils back in, Burning Wish for Grape Shot at any point. There's a lot of bad news for me involved here. I'm going to Brainstorm End Step for Velocity. I can't use fetch lands anyway. Put back Misty and Savannah, and then go to my turn, represent Hardcast Force. Is that my way through here? Pass. Maybe I can Hardcast Force on this Echo, and he's out of gas. That's my dream, my hopes and dreams. But if he just has Burning Wish in hand, can get Grape Shot or the other Tendrils. All right, well, this gives him the Echo, or just has another Burning Wish. A lot of ways I die to this. I'm just waiting for death, hoping it doesn't happen. All right, fine. Show me the Grape Shot. Or the second Tendrils. They all work. Okay. Found the line. Consign to Memory, Flusterstorm coming in, Pyroblast Meltdown coming in. Surgical and Ghost Vacuum aren't actually good. That's a trap. Don't fall for it. All right, Punishing Fire, Swords to Plowshares go out. Pyroblast was almost good there. I do like Dak. Fairy's okay. Endurance is a flash threat. Prismatic Ending is kind of like Meltdown, but worse. Am I ever going to Loam? I don't think I'm going to Loam value this opponent, though Loam plus Dak is another one of the draw engines in the deck. Force of Vigor could actually be good enough. If I'm looking for literally anything that does anything, if I go out on endings, and it's a little weird to cut Prismatic Ending and bring in Meltdown and Force of Vigor because they do the same thing in the matchup. But Force is an instant and Meltdown is a sweeper, where Ending is 1-for-1 at sorcery speed. I think side grading these all makes sense. I think Endurance is fine. Do I need Grove if I'm boarding out Fire? 21 lands with 4 Noble Hierarchs is still a shitload of mana. I should have Hydroblast in too. There's Burning Wish and Song of Creation. That was just a brief moment of insanity. It's there, don't worry. I could shave a Hierarch too. And cutting mana never feels like the best, but this is still more lands than I play in most Legacy decks, plus 3 Hierarchs. I'm into it. Let's go. I don't have any slam dunks like Deafening Silence, Null Rod. None of that stuff is in here, which is kind of disappointing. All right, I'm going to keep my hand, and I'm going to play Fetch Land and Pass. I'm here for the Pyroblast action. I'll develop Noble Hierarch next turn if I get a next turn. And I can't fetch a Surveil land here because none of them are red, and that's what I'm trying to do. Hierarch. These dirtily matchups that don't apply pressure quickly are exactly what the Epic Storm wants to play against, by the way. This is Bryant Cook, pig and shit. I'm actually going to get aggressive here. There's no guarantee. Like, if he goes for Echo, he'll probably try to protect it. And if I can make that harder on him, if he just goes LED Echo here from hand, that's fine. We just have to play into that shit. Ponder. Hierarch Stock Up. I could just cast Stock Up here. Fill my hand. All right. No shuffle. Fetch for... I don't need a lot of white, so it's probably Trop. Yeah, Trop and Stock Up. Challenge level of finding Force of Will, impossible. I'll take Force of Vigor and probably Brainstorm. Spell Pierce looks really good if I get another look. Okay, I don't love my position. I have to hope that my opponent plays scared. There's the Brainstorm. Bought myself a Time Walk, which bought me a Stock Up on the Pyroblast last turn. Petal. Gamble. Let's see, Lion's Eye Diamond hit the graveyard. Veil of Summer hit the graveyard. That might be good. Okay, I have been given time to operate, which in this economy is all I could really ask for. I start with a Brainstorm, Knight of the Reliquary. All right, land goes back, and I don't need 2 Knights of the Reliquary. I might not need any. I'm going to fetch before I ponder. I'll get Tundra here, ponder. Spell Pierce actually looking okay. Right, no shuffle, Spell Pierce is in my hand. I can cast Endurance if he does nothing and Spell Pierce him if he does something. I do have to start winning this game. Like, despite things looking pretty okay at the moment, this can change quickly. And I haven't applied any pressure. He does have 7 cards in hand over there. Okay, I think I want to start with Brainstorm. Hydroblast, okay. Caracas doesn't matter. Endurance is looking worse and worse. every minute, though it is a flash threat. Yeah, it might be Grove, actually. And then Ponder off of the Trop. Another Spell Pierce. Okay, this is not a shuffle. This is not action. What am I looking for here? Endurance does start applying pressure this turn, but not if I have to pierce. I'm going to shuffle this. Meltdown. All right, yeah, just what we wanted. And I'm going to continue holding up Noble Hierarch. Maximum mana represented. Uh-oh, a land. I did my best to avoid this. Thoughtseize. Fuck off. All right, my thoughts are seized now. All my plans revealed, all my dubious interaction revealed. Yep, endurance gone. I built for so long around exactly that. All 3 echoes were in hand. That's funny. Okay. Well, there's nothing to be done here. That resolves. And then I get a different hand with consigned to memory involved. I like that one. Okay, this hand's way better than the hand I had before. I'll take it. Is it Dak Faden time? I think it is. Red, white, blue, Dak, target me. Pyroblast that I can't cast because I had to cast Dak this turn. I don't think I'll be hierarching again this game, and this is probably too many lands. And can I push damage? Yes. I can cast the spells I need to cast with 2 mana. When I cast Dak, he said, you feel like you know things, but then people surprise you. Yeah, I mean, bad news bears. All right, if I Force of Will this Thoughtseize and get Veil of Summered, that's the double whammy. But if he sees Consigned to Memory, I get whammied anyway. He doesn't know I only have 1 red source, so you might have to respect this Pyroblast, whether he likes it or not. Pyroblast was taken. B-Storm, okay. So he's still sculpting, and that was actually the scariest thing, because he needs the sculpt more than he needs the payoff right now, and took a card that I couldn't even cast. That's just good deck building. Make your deck look like it does things that it doesn't do. I think it's time for a Hedge Maze. Hedgerino. I'll take another Consign. I can scam an Uro with this. I could just counter the trigger. I could play Uro, draw a card, and then decide what I want to do. I should probably Dak first. All right, I'm going to Dak first, target myself. Cool. That's a lot of blue cards, and it's a bonus Uro. All right, Knight of the Reliquary, I gave you a good chance, my friend. You are not going to be part of this game. And Meltdown. All right, I'm going to cast Uro. Green, blue, colorless. Gain 3 life, draw a card. Stack that first. Wowee. I even drew a 3rd Consign. I'll scam that in. And he saw one of the consigns. He didn't see the other 2. And if I get echoed this turn, it barely matters. Kept a card on top. I hate when that happens. Brainstorm. Scalding Tarn. Gotta be almost out of lands over there. Another Brainstorm. It's on a 2-turn clock now. It's turn 7, and I finally threatened to deal damage in any capacity. Gamble from a 6-card hand. Blindside item to the graveyard. Lotus Petal to the graveyard. Okay, I'm going to attack with Uro first. That's 7 damages. And an extra card. Do I need a Flooded Strand in play, or is this better to loot away with Uro or with Dak? I think it's better to loot it away with Dak. I even still have my actual land drop if I look at 2 cards and change my mind. Force of Vigor. Okay, Misty Rainforest can go. And is Force of Vigor going to do anything? We're at the showdown. He's dead on board. I think I want to put everything in my hand that could possibly do anything. Which means discarding 2 lands. Do I Ponder? Yes, I do. And I use Tundra to do it. Endurance. That's another thing that could do anything. All right. That fits the bill. No shuffle. All right. Every way that my deck can interact is currently represented, and my opponent's dead on board, but he's been sculpting for the last several turns. We will see. Dark Ritual. This deck was worth a ton of selection this game, even if it didn't do anything super sexy. Just looting a bunch of times was great. All right, well, I have to force this, and I'm going to pitch Uro to do it. All right, 1 down. 3 cards left in hand. There's 1 green still showing. Burning Wish, pretty good. If he wishes for Thoughtseize and then has LED Echo in hand, we're taking a spin, and I can't stop that. If he wishes for Beseech, I can blow out both Gaia's Blessing and Song of Creation. Got an Echo. All right, we got this one. The Pyroblast doing its job. Counter target spell if it's blue. That is a blue spell by my count. Hell yeah. Scamming in an Uro in a very difficult matchup. Now we're on the draw and got to do it again. And now he knows about my deck. Now the Surgicals, like what Surgical could do, I guess, is like if he goes Veil of Summer, LED, discard my hand, Echo on the stack, I don't get a priority pass to get the LED or get the Echo, but I could take the LEDs out of the deck, or if something like Burning Wish is just randomly discarded along the way. I feel like on the draw, I need more help. I cut another Noble Hierarch. Poor Noble Hierarch. I'm trying so hard to like that card. And I do like that card. I'm being a dick. I think Knight of the Reliquary is actually worse than Noble Hierarch in this matchup. And one Surgical is now in. I don't want a ton of those because they don't help me survive any of the normal lines. But I'm desperate. Opponent's on 6, shitload of Pyroblast in my hand. I have the Windswept Teeth that can't fetch red. Shocking. Shocking and disrespectful. All right, here we go. This one's great. Keep bottom Noble Hierarch. You board 2 out, 2 still show up in your opening hand. It wants to be part of the game, and I respect it. Oh no, I left in the second one, right? Okay, I have forced blue card plus Pyroblast available. Sewer. Dumped Gaia's Will. One less thing to worry about. He has to Echo now before he could kill me with Beseech. Ooh, Spell Pierce. It's getting better. And I'm on the board. Pressure. I can only cast Pyroblast or Spell Pierce this turn. But I might not need either. Just playing draw go. Ponder. Looking for lands. Savannah is almost a land. Ugh. Alright, I will actually take a Savannah because it helps me get to Fairy down with additional stuff still going on next turn, though it doesn't cast any of the spells I really care about. We're going to see the other Surveil land here. There it is. The Entomb, the free Entomb. That card's banned. Okay, Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. He found what he was looking for, he's going for it. I can fend off a Veil plus Send here. I can't beat double Veil. I can't beat Thoughtseize plus Veil. Burning Wish. This can get Thoughtseize, I guess. Alright. Burning Wish resolves. Gets Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize. I am going to Spell Pierce this. Because that takes him off Echo mana. I mean, this deck's full of mana, but I'm going to try to find an interaction point anywhere I can. And do I want to lose to Veil of Summer this turn? Or, I mean, if his hand is mana plus Veil, I can't beat it anyway. Alright, Thoughtseize resolves. I took the Force. So he knows Echo is still a problem, but not worried about anything else. Or, oh shit. Well, I needed to shuffle here anyway, because Spell Pierce was not good anymore. I was about to get a Surveil and then realized that's not actually legal. But Brainstorm changes everything he thinks he knows about my hand. I'm doing that. Brainstorm. Blusterstorm, Force of Vigor. Okay, I'm going to go to Fairy, Force of Vigor on top of the deck, and then mill away Force of Vigor. And I'm going to pass. So Flusterstorm is the variable he doesn't know about here. Thoughtseize is cheating. Okay. Has to take Pyroblast. But I can actually bully the Echo by another turn with the Flusterstorm. Took the Pyroblast after all. We can Echo through Fluster next turn. Okay, I'm going to start with Ponder, Spell Pierce, and Flusterstorm together. Best friends. What does this do? Okay, can I invest to Fairy here? If I go draw Tundra, Spell Pierce on top, 1, 2, 3 to Fairy, minus on nothing, then my hand is Fluster plus Pierce. I'm drawing Noble Hierarch next turn, which is not very good, but it does attack. All right, I will take this lowdown showdown I've been offered. White, blue, colorless, holding up blue, blue, bluffing red. I'm going to minus to Fairy on nothing, and I can defeat this Echo of Eons in the graveyard through a series of soft permission. If I can get him to commit the Lotus Petals on Luster and then pierce him. Then there's no Echo and he's down almost half the mana that he was showing. But then it's just like, heads up, 2 Noble Hierarchs versus 14 life. Chrome Mox builds Storm. Ooh, pitching a Beseech. Interesting. Echo of Eons. Luster Storm. His last card in hand is Veil. It doesn't matter because I have Teferi. We solved that problem already. Right, let's get these Lotus Petals committed. And then Spell Pierce. And then he has 14 life to figure it out with. 4 mana in play is plenty to do stuff with. Teferi means Beseech the Mirror doesn't work right, because you can't cast the spell for free due to the timing restrictions of Teferi ever. It can still be Diabolic Tutor. Alright, I'm F6'd. Though most of the lines go through Echo, like refilling my hand could be the best you could do here. Right, Burning Wish. That's a good one to follow up with. Whatever he wants is available now. Gamble. Yeah, this could just dump an Echo. It's a 50-50 though. Alright, setting up for next turn. Drawing new cards now. And it's a good one. Noble Hierarch. Make it happen. Down to 10. Okay, so if we see Gamble, alright, is sculpting here. Just taking his time, using his life total as a resource. Smart. I'm going to attack here. I'm actually not going to Brainstorm. I don't want him to panic, because if I can bounce this Chrome Mox, that's so fucked up. Like, that's a 2-for-1 that also sets him back in mana. 3-for-1, because I draw a card as well. He's incentivized to go for it here for a variety of reasons, but he's also incentivized to make sure he can protect himself when he does go for it, which I don't know if he can do right now. All right, we're just getting a pass. Nice. Found a force. Bounce that Chrome Mox. The juice is flowing. All right, I have basically drawn the best card I could draw on all of the last 4 turns ever since setting up that Spell Pierce all that time ago. All right, force pitching B-Storm on this Veil. I can Pyroblast an Echo. I could consign an LED or wait for the Storm to finish. Oh, I could cut him off black here. Is black mana important to your Dark Ritual deck? Remind me. Okay, attack for 2. Running out of time. Okay, there's Chrome Mox. We know Gamble's still in the hand. Oh, Gamble's not in the hand anymore. Uh-oh, it's Veil time. Is there still a path through? I mean, I'm going to have to draw a consign here. We're getting an Echo. Hell yeah. I'm glad we made a game out of it. After all, if I redraw consign, which I didn't. All right. He's got to make this happen. He's got the Veil protection. Brainstorm. I could still Brainstorm into a consign here. I do play a bunch of them. He has to come up with black mana to get the Dark Rituals going. There's Badlands. Chrome Mox. Yeah, pitching Beseech because it doesn't work. LED. We're gaming team. Another Echo. Okay, I could take the LEDs out of the deck here. I'm going to take something out of the deck. I just have to decide whether Thoughtseize, Brainstorm, or LED. It's not Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Lion's Eye Diamond. This makes the bursting of mana so much harder. And he is down to 4 mana right now. This does build Storm and reduce my life total by 2. There's still Runehorn Hellkite in here. 2 Burning Wishes. Galvanic Relight technically good enough. He's not dead on board. There's still 1 Beseech that doesn't work. Alright. The LEDs are gone. Let's see if that dubious tech from my sideboard, the last card I boarded in, is going to be good enough. Alright, I still have Brainstorm for consign in the emergency situation. Brainstorm, down to 3 mana that we can see. Obviously the deck's full of initial mana sources. Dark Ritual. Thoughtseize, uh-oh. This takes Brainstorm, then I lose. So I actually have to Brainstorm now. Right, I have to Brainstorm into 2 consigns. Oh no, it didn't happen. All right, well, I'm probably dead. Should I destroy this Lotus Petal on the way out? Nope, doesn't matter. Excellent patience from my opponent here. He was at 12 when we started this Noble Hierarch versus empty-handed business. And like I said, I drew most of the best cards I could draw, and apparently so did he. Took as many turns as he could to make it happen. Like, if he waited even one more turn, he couldn't Thoughtseize me here. Like, 4 is the perfect number to stop at. But this Thoughtseize means he's planning to win, because now he's dead on board, which he wasn't a moment ago. Took Ponder. I suspect that doesn't matter, and it's all flavor text. I could force a Vigor right now, which could deny him a mana, or I could just build him a Storm. All right, I mean, I'm going to try to do anything I can do here. I'm almost out of things that are possible to do. If I hit this Chrome Mox before it imprints, then that might deny him a critical mana. And I was dead to Grape Shot without this Force of Vigor, adding Storm, so that doesn't matter. He could have taken the Force of Vigor if that's what he was worried about. And taking Ponder, if you need that mana, is weird. I also could have kept my Knight of the Reliquary and just cast the Force. Right, he said in the chat, I got him, and did I Brainstorm Consign on top? And he said, gotcha, I made the wrong call. I told him I was trying to brainstorm in, so he must have been playing around one thing and into another thing, and that's interesting, because in what world? Oh, right. I have to Fairy Bubble. No, he was right. He was right to do that. Okay, so I forgot I could still Ponder. Or else I probably would have just done it in response. No, he was actually more in tune with my deck than I was, and must have needed exactly that much mana and couldn't be consigned to memory. That's so funny. Play better than me. Outthink yourself. Lose. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3. I'm going to have to mulligan this hand. I'm loving this Ponder deck where 1/3 of the mana base doesn't cast Ponder. Delicious. Opponent kept 7. I'm going to mulligan. Here we go. Keep this. Get rid of Meticulous Archive. I'd rather fetch for that. And with 24 mana sources in the deck, let's keep the spells. Basic Island. That's a very nice basic island. Hey. All right, I'm going to go Tropical Island Noble Hierarch. Planar Nexus. Okay, so this has to be the blue post deck. Chalice on 1. All right, I have Prismatic Ending and Teferi for that, actually. Or Dak, steal it. The running joke of this league is stealing Chalice the Void with deck. All right, Teferi. Let's see if they've got one of their precious forces over there. They do not, and now they'll never have a force again. If they want to spend their turn replaying that, that's fine. If they go like Ancient Tomb One Ring, I'll just take it. The post, 3 mana. Chalice has returned. You got it. This matchup's also probably really bad. Though I do have Wastelands. If I get Knight of the Reliquary going, if I get a Lone Block going, these are all exciting things I can do. I'm going to use my Prismatic Ending here on the Chalice and then Brainstorm and try to hit some useful action. That's a lot of Noble Hierarchs. I'm going to get rid of Grove of the Burn Willows and one of the Hierarchs, and then I'll play the other Hierarch. I'm almost out of fetchable green. That happened quickly. All right, Savannah, another Savannah. We are a Maverick deck at the core, splashing blue and red. Another Chalice. All right, opponent was very into Chalice of the Void when they woke up this morning, and when they kept their hand. Missed a land drop, in fact. That's big news. Okay, fetch for Volcanic Island. Red, blue, colorless. Dak Faden. Target me. Discard Caracas and Ponder. Yeah, Ponder, not good into the Chalice. And my damage will multiply much faster if I play Endurance with the mana. Like, I could attack for 2 now, or I could attack for 5 every turn for the rest of the game. I'd rather do that. And if they kept their hand on the strength of the One Ring, now it's awkward. Like, do you even play it into the deck? Hell yeah. Opponent is committed to the bit over there. Did the first Chalice of the Void beat you? No. How about the second and the third and fourth? Target you with Endurance. That'll show you. Put your 0 cards on the bottom. All right, big rips. The Punishing Fire is here. Deck Faden. Do your job. All right, loot. Discard Punishing Fire and Tundra. Plus Teferi, attack for 5. I'm still worried about my opponent's hand here. Like, they've been stumbling for a long time, but that doesn't mean they're dead. I guess I should have Hedge Mazed in the main phase because there's 2 Uros I could hit that would be relevant to cast right now. Yeah, that was a mistake. I was trying to think of why that would matter, and I figured it out. All right, stock up. I doubt they're going to miss their land drop again. Looking at 5 cards in a deck with this many lands in it tends to turn the corner. Urza's Tower, and just like that, they've doubled their mana. Dismember my Endurance. Oh no, what am I going to do about that? Wink, 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 wink. All right, I'm going to get the Hedge Maze here. I'm very interested in Wasteland. Brainstorm, I can't play that card. And I'll keep the pressure up here with a backup Endurance. I will continue to endure their graveyard. I don't know if they're going to use it, but let's not find out. Draw for turn, Force of Will, that one's pretty good. Teferi. I'm actually not going to bounce one of their Chalices, because if they replay it on a different number, that's actually worse for me. And I think having the Archive in hand to loot away is better than the Surveil I gain by playing it. Oh, wow. Now I have to make decisions. I could just get rid of Force of Will. Yeah, that... Okay. So Force Wasteland collapses what they're trying to do the hardest. But they're on a 3-turn clock. They will have 1 turn at the end to figure it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 1 mana short of having Knight plus Force available. Well, Meticulous Archive is definitely getting discarded. And then the aggro Wasteland plus Knight line, or the protected Force plus Wasteland line. I don't think Knight plus Force makes any sense. All right, I came to party. I'm discarding the Force. Wasteland your Planar Nexus. Attack for 5. And shove the biggest, most lethal creature you've ever seen in your life. Boom! Rattles the earth when this 10/10 hits the board. And I just have to hope they don't go like Planar Nexus, Kozilek's Command, multiple things. And 1 ring would buy them a turn and draw a card, but Dak will steal it, and then I'll kick their ass after that. Okay, they have put a 1 ring in the hand. So they have a blocker, 1 ring, don't have another land. I do have another Wasteland in my deck that Knight could just tutor for. Force of Will in the grip. Okay, I have a series of options here. I can Knight for Grove, kill Thundertrap Trainer, pass with Force up. Do I have enough mana for that? It would be float 1, rotate this away. You go to 9, I get my... Or you go to 9, I get my thing back, hit you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, we're good. All right. I have chosen to embrace the other part of the deck. Don't know how often this is going to be useful, but I am here for it right now. Punishing Fire. And there's conceding to a Punishing Fire activation on the stack. It's been 10 years since anyone did that, and I am here today to tell you it still feels great. Punishing, or Consigned to Memory comes in. Swords to Plowshare is pretty mid here. Force of Vigor hits Chalices, and sometimes they have things like Karn Silex. Nobody has ever beaten that card in the history of Earth. They are a blue deck, and their blue cards matter. I like Pyroblast for that. I actually think Punishing Fire is really bad in this matchup, but it did just have a moment. Spell Pierce can help me fend off the early stuff, but is a complete blank in the late game. Loam Wasteland can keep it relevant. Endurance, not very important here. It is a green card for Force, but I have a lot of those. And I think I can shave a Noble Hierarch versus the Chalice of the Void deck. Do I want to be flustering Kozilek's Commands and stock-ups? Probably. There's so many cards that are... You can envision a spot where they're good, but you can also envision a spot where they're completely useless and embarrassing. All right, I think I'm going to shave another Pierce rather than another Hierarch, and I'll make this my plan. Okay, weird stuff. This deck can't afford to play Back to Basics or Blood Moon, not even close. All right, I like my hand. It interacts with the things their deck does, except for their mana base. Tower, all right, Tower go. I'm happy with that. Multiple Pyroblasts available. Please cast a blue card next turn. If they go like Planar Nexus stock up, I'm ready. All right, well. Oh, you love to see it. Volcanic Island. Counter target spell if it's blue. These scripted games against paid actors really make for good content. And that's worth a Force of Will to you, pitching Sink into Stupor. Okay, I mean, I got a 2-for-1 out of that, and the stock up just replaces the Force of Will cards. I'm not going to force their force and then not have an answer to the One Ring. I can't do it. You won't make me. All right, 2 cards in the hand. Play my land and pass. Importantly, Savannah does not cast any of the important spells here. It's been a common theme. Cloud Post, they're starting to make this mana super wide on me. Play another stock up, please. Barrogoyf. Ooh, that's close. If I draw the land, I don't care about Barrogoyf, but if I don't, this is a complete nightmare. I don't want to force this. I guess I have to. I will take my medicine. Okay. Draw for turn. Stock up. Glad I forced the Barrogoyf. And now it will depend on how many threats they could play in a turn. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Twice as much mana available than turns they've taken. Another Begoyf. Can't interact with that one. Gonna have to draw the land this time. Follow up with a One Ring that I can counter. Hell yeah. Alright, I'm gonna replicate this in case they have a force. And then I'm gonna draw the land, Prismatic Ending the Barrogoyf, and they got nothing going on? Fingers crossed. Alright, untapped land off the top deck, please. Fuck! Alright, well, we're gonna die to Barrogoyf. Their deck isn't known for being full of creatures, though. It's possible Barrogoyf misses on the mill, and if it doesn't draw cards, if it's just Baneslayer Angel, I can survive a couple turns against that. If they mill the other Barrogoyf, okay, yeah, they just milled 5 cards that weren't anything. Though Barrogoyf is 7-8 now. It's almost at its full potential. Yeah, we always had it. What were you worried about? I'm actually going to invest to Fairy first, because Prismatic Ending's more important to resolve, and if Teferi resolves, then so will Prismatic Ending, but not the other way around. Okay. I took 5, but that's some shit we can absorb. Another Planar Nexus. That does turn on double blue, but Force of Will's already off. Barrogoyf's in. Still, yeah, lands are still my best draws here. Happy to see one. And I am going to pass the turn, and then I can Prismatic Ending Barrogoyf in combat while leaving up Flusterstorm or Pyroblast if they have other spells. So really, like Sorcerer's Bead stock up or Thundertrap Trainer are the only things that matters for. Okay, do I give them the life to leave up blue? I think I do. All right. White, green, red. The old Naya Prismatic Ending. Flusterstorm could hit a massive Kozilek's command if they just try to, like, scry 10 this turn or whatever. I would like to stop that. And that's worth giving them a life. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Target spell if it's blue. Alright, please be out of gas. Please be out of gas. I'm running out of gas myself over here. Draw for turn. Knight of the Rel. Green, white, colorless. Holding up Flusterstorm. Knight of the Rel. This is how we turn it around. The big beats. The Wasteland's out of the deck. The Wasteland doesn't do a lot here. Dismember. I can't put 3 lands in my graveyard somehow. Alright, they're down to 1 card in hand. We're starting to grind it back. Consign to Memory. Best draw. And with only 1 blue source available, I'm going to pass. I could stock up in their end step, but I'd rather make sure I don't get blasted by Ugin or some shit this turn. I will let the One Ring resolve because I'll steal it with Dak. Oh no, this is a big blue card. This is probably Thundertrap Trainer with Kicker. Oh, Lorien Revealed. Can't counter that one either. I guess that just has to work. Hate that for me. Only colorless mana still showing though. Played another tapped Cloud Post. Officially in the trillions of mana range. Kozilek's Command is the only thing that this Flusterstorm will ever hit at this point. All right, end step stock up. Feels like cheating, and I love cheating. Noble Hierarch, hilarious. I'm going to take Flooded Strand, and there's no way this Noble Hierarch's good, right? I can't imagine. All right, I'll take Tropical Island and Flooded Strand. Then go to my turn. Prismatic Ending. Do I want to draw a card with Teferi? I think I do. All right, I'm just going to try to draw a card with Teferi. Another land. I could play Dak now and start getting my cards to be good cards instead of bad cards. I think it must be done. I have to give them a life to do this, or leave up Volk. Yeah, if I play a land, okay, I should play a land. Red, blue, colorless. Dak. Come on, Dak. Come on now, Magic Online. I even said it out loud. All right, Dak Faden. Now they know the One Ring's not a good play, though that trick isn't there anymore. Right, one of the lands is discarded, and do I value Prismatic Ending over a land at this point? Chalice of the Void is the card they could play that I would care about there. I think I care about Chalice enough to discard a land. Okay, passing the turn. Still not sure how I win this game, but I am doing a good job clinging on for dear life. Casual 10 mana in the pool from 2 lands. Cloudpost is so cool when it pops off. It's a little eye-rolly with Planar Nexus these days, but I've been playing Magic long enough that I remember when it was hard to tap for that much. Okay, well, this was the one thing that Flusterstorm might still hit, and it's not going to hit it. This is scry X, draw a card, and make X spawns. I'm going to force pitching Flusterstorm. I'm saving the consign for Ugin, because the trigger on that thing is a separate problem all its own. Waterlog Teachings, scary, but okay. Got another Kozilek's Command. They'll probably wait a turn, or I guess they have so much mana. I don't know. It's up to you. I'm done guessing what they're going to try to do with their cards. I will counter this if they cast it though, but I'd prefer they go to next turn and try to cast an even bigger one and give me some time to set up. Not interested. The full elbow tap on this thing. Flusterstorm missed its chance to do anything. All right, consign that. I don't need to kick it because I have Teferi. The Punishing Fire is in my deck somewhere if I can get myself to a spot where I can use it. Wasteland. It's funny that a single Wasteland is worth... so it's the 5 mana the Cloudpost would tap, plus the 1. A single Wasteland is worth 7 mana here, and it still barely matters. Right, Noble Hierarch definitely sucks. And Prismatic Ending can go because I drew Force of Vigor, which would deal with the thing Prismatic Ending would deal with. I'm going to Brainstorm. I would love to put a threat into play. Impossible. Okay. Another Brainstorm. All right, I'm going to put back the 2 Force of Vigors. Then I'll play new Teferi. I'm kind of just playing like ugly, awful, do literally anything magic to see another card. And I could Wasteland a Planar Nexus, but they have so many Cloudposts that it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, I'm going to hit a Cloudpost. That's worth 7 mana on the board. And I'm just going to have to hope they whiff for a turn, and I get to do anything. I will concede on the spot to Ugin, though. Stock up. Bad news. Hey, another tower. It's not as much mana as the Cloudpost I took out, but it is a lot of mana. Here's the other Force of Vigor I knew about. Plus Teferi. Dak myself. I guess I want to land more than I want a second Force of Vigor. Brainstorm. I need a win condition. Okay. Life from the Loam. I will now put back Flooded Strand and the Force of Vigor, I guess. And then Loam, get back Wasteland and 2 fetches. Loam those back. Do I start hitting the Planar Nexi? I can take them all out next turn, and this is their colored mana. I'm going to Ponder and Dredge Loam right now. Oh shit. Consign to Memories there. That is one of my better cards. At any order, Shuffle, Dredge Loam. Okay, I milled Spell Pierce, Tundra. All right, that was a pretty good random shuffle away of bad cards I don't care about. All right, I needed a whiff last turn. I need a whiff this turn. I can almost actually Loam lock them. I boarded out both Endurances, though, so decking myself is a concern. Dak's ultimate is you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell that targets one or more permanents, you gain control of those permanents. I'm not doing a lot of that. I could like Pyroblast and Ugin, then it's mine. But my deck doesn't even really utilize Ugin, and it doesn't exile any of their cards. And I don't have like a Hull Breacher or a Narset or anything where I could start decking them. That's not a gear the deck has. I guess eventually all the lands in my deck will be in the graveyard and out of the Reliquary is a one-shot. As long as I don't dredge all my game-winning threats. It's a lot of mana they're tapping. Eldrazi Confluence, nice. Okay. This creates a 1/1 Scion and flickers a permanent. So this puts Dak back down to 3 loyalty. So they were actually worried about the ultimate, which I mostly wasn't, but cool. Draw for turn. Uro, a win condition. Okay. Loam target, Wasteland, Tundra, Misty Rainforest, mana spent, plus Teferi. I'm going to Dak myself, and I am not going to Dredge Loam here. Knight of the Reliquary, hell yeah. Discard a bunch of irrelevant fetch lands. Waste your Planar Nexus. That knocked 2, 4, 5, 6 mana and all of their colored sources off the board. And I'm going for Big Poppy here. I probably could have tapped this turn in a way that did not give them a life. But here we go. Into my 3rd consecutive turn of hoping that the deck full of bangers whiffs. I'm willing to bet there's at least a 1 ring, at least one ring in their hand here. That just would make sense based on the game, and very little else does make sense. Okay, plus Teferi. I'd really like interaction in my hand at this point. I'm going to ponder and look at the cards. Oh, wait. I have a new trick. I can tutor my other Wasteland. Okay, float a green. Sack Savannah. Get my other Wasteland. Waste a Cloud Post. And then ponder. Dredge Loam off of the ponder. Oh, sick. This also entombs an Uro. Don't shuffle. Dredge Loam. 17 cards left in my deck is not the highest number I've ever heard. I think I need that green mana. So white, Loam targeting Wasteland, and Savannah. I'll take those back. And then blue-green colorless. Puts Wasteland into play off the Uro trigger. Not going to Dredge Loam. Wasteland. Waste your Cloud Post. And I don't really want to spend any cards, so I mean, 14 cards. All right, I'll deck myself. My hand is just so bad that I'm probably done dredging Loam, but I would like some actual like spells in my hand. Okay. Knight of the Reliquary is 9/9. Teferi's up to 4. This is crazy. I wish I had 1 Endurance left in my deck, but maybe I'm just being a baby. A Glimmer Post is in, gains 1 life. Have you ever heard a more tragic story told by a Cloud Post player than Glimmer Post gain 1? Wow. All right. We are engaged in a damage race. They're more worried about Teferi than they are about taking 9, which is going to be 10, which is actually going to be 12 because they don't know about the Hierarchs. Not dredging Loam this turn. Plus Teferi. Uro. I go green. I'll play Tundra from hand. Uro. Blue. Green. Exile a bunch of things that are not lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's Uro. Don't dredge. Do put in Wasteland. I drew Consign to Memory. That's a little awkward, considering I just tapped out of my mana. We got a GG. Are you done? Is there an island left in my deck? The GG is confusing to me. I don't think it's a bad sportsmanship GG. I just think they might genuinely think they're dead when they're not. Is there an island left in my deck? We've got Trop, Tundra, Volk. No, there's not. So I actually can't consign this turn. Okay, well, I guess I'll just attack then. All right, they actually are conceding. Wow, that was an insane game. I needed them to brick for a long time, and they did, but then my engine kicked in, Dak faded, showing his strength. Lone Wasteland showing its strength. That was a strange outing. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. I am on the draw in round 4 with a fascinating hand. This only casts 2 of the spells in the hand, but those spells are Pyroblast, Life from Loam, and I have both of my Wastelands. I'm going to try this. This could be the fastest Wasteland hook I ever put into an opponent, or I could die immediately, and we'll find out together. Catacombs pass. Alright, I'm going to go for a Noble Hierarch here. Now my hand does something else, and if I didn't draw a spell I could play, I probably would have just played Wasteland and dared them to fetch a Surveil. But if I could catch them sleeping over there... Right, Undercity Sewers, please don't put Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard. Altar of Dementia, so we're playing against a Hogak self-mill variant. That's really exciting. Careful Study. Is it hybridized with Reanimator, or is this just a value Careful Study putting what into the graveyard? Altar of Dementia is a Hogak card all day. Timeline Color, okay, sweet. You may cast this from your graveyard with its warp ability. Nice. And there's Bloodghast in there. Okay. Bloodghast comes back, and they can warp Timeline Color. If they want to. They might just actually want it in the graveyard for future Hogak turns. Stitcher Supplier. Alright, please don't mill over a Hogak right now. Bridge from Below. Alright. There's that card. And let's see if the Wasteland business is booming. Wasteland your Undercity Sewer. And Prismatic Ending your Stitcher Supplier. It's hard to kill that thing without feeling bad about it, but I feel good about this. It would be insane if they force a will here and I have the main deck Pyroblast. Okay. This is not how I envisioned the first 2 turns of the game going, but they currently have none of their engines online, and there's a Bridge from Below in the graveyard. But if they miss the land drop this turn, the Lone Lock is coming. I do main deck multiple Endurances. Hedron Crab. No way, Jose. Counter target spell if it's blue. How about that one? Daze here is actually disgusting because it guarantees their land drop in addition to protecting their Hedron Crab. But it would be really nice if this thing just isn't in play. Daze, oh no, they got me. Alright. Well, that went as poorly as it could. Do they have a better land to play? Still Underground Sea. And it's weird they attacked with Bloodghast first, because that means they can't mill into Hogak here, when if Bloodghast is untapped, they could have. Cabal Therapy. Yeah, good luck. There's no way they're going to blind name Spell Pierce or Life from the Loam, and if they do, I also don't care. The double whammy. Swords to Plowshares. Nope. Good name, though. That is a card you care about. And they can Flashback Therapy, sacking Bloodghast, gets them a zombie token. Didn't do it, though. Oh my god. Alright, what would I rather do here? And I just get it all, right? Waste you, and then I have Endurance, pitching Loam with Spell Pierce backup if anything rowdy starts happening. I don't really want to pitch Loam, but if the difference is winning or losing the game on the spot, I'm going to do it. I could block with Noble Hierarch here and destroy their Bridge from Below, but I kind of want my mana. Alright, the double Wasteland keep is paying dividends. Do I want to cast Loam this turn? No, that taps me out of Endurance, so no. Just going to pass. We know they're a Daze deck. There's enough blue cards in this deck to support Force of Will also. No, I'm going to wait a turn to be able to cast Endurance with Spell Pierce protection. All right, they're still just passing to me. Fetch land versus Caracas. I think I want the fetch land because if I don't need the Spell Pierce backup, that can be a Surveil land. All right, here we go. Got a little mill going on. They hit another Bloodghast. Okay, they sacked the first Bloodghast to Cabal Therapy, and now I can Endurance them, which sweeps away the bridge, but they can fetch in response to Endurance and get their Bloodghast back, but then I get to sweep any of the cards that the Verdant Catacombs mills off the Hedron Crab. So they have to decide if they want 2 Bloodghasts in play and no graveyard, or the start of a graveyard developing again, but no Bloodghasts. And double Bloodghast versus 3/4 Endurance in play doesn't seem that good. Between you and me. Force of Will. All right, pitching Daze. Either that's their only blue card, or their hand has 2 Dazes in it. Tropical Island. They know about the Spell Pierce. Was this a take your medicine situation, or do you actually have double interaction for this? They took their medicine. Target you with Endurance. And they did value having a graveyard post-Endurance more than having 2 Bloodghasts in play. They can name Life from the Loam, or they can guess what my other card is and try to hit something they care about. Swords of Plowshares. All right, still just letting me have the Loam. And it's not nothing to name Loam there. That does replace a draw step with me having to dredge that, where now I can just cast it and get what I want anyway. But their engine is still online. Hedron Crab is crabbing. This could get icky. They hit a bridge from below, and they have a Stitcher Supplier in hand, so they're just fully reloaded here. And there's Hogak. Well, bad news, team. Gonna have to figure that out. Oh, I'm holding Caracas. I don't care about Hogak. Unless they combo kill me with Altar. Scalding a Tarn. Right, I guess I will use the Loam here, get back the 3 lands, just make my hand full of cards. And I'll play the fetch land that they know I have instead of the one that they don't know. And I'm going to pass here. All right, well, this is going to miss, but it will cast Hogak if they stack their Hedron Crab. If they stack Stitcher Supplier, it doesn't necessarily cast Hogak because the 2/2 zombie is the second black creature to convoke with. And cycling one black creature to another doesn't matter. All right, they named Name Sticker Goblin for that Cabal Therapy. They got jokes. Okay, I'm going to get Hedge Maze. Misty Reinforced into the graveyard. I am not going to dredge Life from the Loam. I want to draw an actual card here. It's not the worst card I've ever seen, nor is it the best. White, colorless, blue, Teferi. I'm not particularly hyped about bouncing any of their cards. I would bounce my own Endurance here, actually. Yeah, I would play Teferi, bounce Endurance, play any land, recast Endurance. Cool. Opponent saw the line. Ghost Vacuum, Celestial Purge, Surgical Extraction, Pyroblast. It's a strange deck, but it does work. Do I want Wandering Emperor? That's in the maybe pile. Force of Will is kind of icky against their deck. They do so many things for free, but you do kind of have to treat it like Dredge, where you don't Force of Will to pay off, you Force of Will to set up. Like, I would Force of Will a turn 1 Stitcher Supplier if I had that. But I think I would rather fight their graveyard. I have the Endurances. I'm bringing in Vacuum 2 Surgicals. I have Caracas, Plow, Purge that can beat a resolved Hogak. Consign to Memory counters Altar of Dementia straight up, but then also could hit important triggers like Bloodghast. I think that's too conditional. Just want to talk it out. Uro is awesome because it blows up Bridge from below, because it dies on entry. You just get that one for free. I think I'm going to chill on Noble Hierarchs a little bit, and I actually do believe in punishing fire in this matchup. Killing crabs over and over again, or even if they make like 2 or 3 zombies and then their bridge goes away, that's a way to catch up. That Spell Pierce was clutch last game. They probably have Thoughtseizes in their deck. We saw Cabal Therapy, obviously. I don't have a Bajuka Bog in my Night package, which is pretty sad, but I understand why. The man in this deck is already asking a lot. I could shave a Ponder, or I could play with just 2 Pyroblasts. Just not bring all those in. I am kind of into Wandering Emperor, though. You got to win somehow, and both exile and life gain matter here. All right, yeah, I'm going to try this forced free approach. Okay, my hand can interact with a crab or Stitcher Supplier. I'll play with that. I've got the endurance for when I have 3 mana or a green card. Swamp, my arch nemesis. All right, Stitcher Supplier. Swamp doesn't cast Daze, though. All right, they spike the Hogak on the first round. I have to fetch Tundra here to do the things I want to do. Do I play around Force of Negation? I don't think so. I don't want to let them untap and have some, like, Village Rites or some dumb shit that blows me out. Another one. All right, if they have a sack outlet, oh man, land hits Bloodghast, and that could Hogak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it actually had to be a fetch land. Yep, they have Hogak here if they want him. And want him they do. Turn 2 Hogak. I tried to stop it with the plow, but it turns out plowing the Gak would have been better. Oh, careful study. They're doing even more. They're not even done goofing around. And without a green card for endurance, I just have to look at this and watch it pass me by. 2 more Hogaks. All right, go nuts. The second and third Hogak usually aren't that good. It's weird they didn't Cabal Therapy me if they knew they were casting that careful study. And I guess they still can, but they could have done it before Hogak and just brought the Bloodghast back. All right. Or what are we naming? Swords of Plowshare has been a popular choice. Endurance is a card they've seen and might care about. I doubt they're going to name the Wandering Emperor. Ponder would actually be the one I'd miss the most here. Swords to Plowshares, yep. Good name, don't have it. Oh, Ponder finding Karakas here would be big. Or just drawing Karakas. Noble Hierarch. I'm going to start with Ponder. I am not going to play around Daze because I kind of want my land drop. Celestial Purge, I will play with that. Okay, Noble Hierarch, Celestial Purge, Knight of the Rel. Don't shuffle, play a Hierarch. I will take my 8 this turn and then purge you next turn with Spell Pierce backup. Or 10 this turn. Sorry, Bloodghast. I see you. I respect you. Or maybe even 12 with Timeline Color. Oh. I might be dead. Though, there's not 2 creatures in play. If they have a land in hand, I could die this turn. Or no, I can't because I have Endurance in my hand. All right. So this is kind of cool. The Altar of Dementia can mill yourself for 8 with Hogak, and as long as you have Bridge from Below, you'll always have enough things. Oh no. Well, I don't like that. That's going to name Endurance, and then I actually might get milled out. But I don't think they could do it this turn with what they're showing. It has to happen next turn. But this also means Celestial Purge is not going to kill Hogak anymore. If they had a Bridge from Below in the graveyard, I would be dead right now. Okay, deleting the Bloodghast. This is probably going to take Night. I mean, they know what they're worried about more than I do, so I'm going to stop guessing. I could see arguments for any one of these cards. All right, Knight of the Rel is gone. Okay, I'm definitely not getting mill comboed this turn. They'll probably just attack for 8 and pass back. Yep, there's that. And they have multiple Gaks and 2 creatures in the graveyard that can come back. They need a land drop for one of them. Okay, I will do the thing I'm capable of doing, which is purge the Gak and hope that they simply miss on relevant cards. They can sack this to mill themselves for 8, and it doesn't look very good. There's no Bridge from Below in there. There is 2 Timeline Colors, but I can waste one of these black sources. Okay. I have to hope they don't have a land drop. If they have a land drop, I'm cooked. Bad news. It may have multiple land drops. Okay. Bloodghast and Color get Hogak into play. They can Gak more than once this turn, because they could tap these, summon Gak, sack all of these to mill themselves for 12. And if there's a bridge in there anywhere, that might be the loop. If there's 2 bridges, they're definitely looping. They could also therapy me if they think that's more important than the extra mill too. I've been therapied. Do I think mana is going to matter for them this turn? I could Spell Pierce this if I want to tap them out. All right, it doesn't matter. They could pay. Wandering Emperor is gone. Are they going to go value here or actually try to combo me out? And the color's cool because as long as it's in the graveyard, you can warp it. It doesn't go anywhere if anything changes. All right, they're not trying to combo me out. I appreciate that. Big draws. Noble Hierarch's not the big draw I was looking for. I will summon it though. My best hope is that my opponent plays weird in a way that doesn't kill me, even though they have many routes to do that. Gas comes back, mill one. Kept a card on top, that's messed up. I guess any land is worth a bunch of action here, so high hit rate. The colors here, another color. I jump with my 2 hierarchs and go to 1. Hogak tramples for reasons that nobody understands. And at 1, I'm not going to beat the Bloodghast or anything else. All right, cool. We saw their deck do what it's supposed to do. Now, game 3, I'll try to just win it. I still don't think I like Force of Will. Is some number of forces better than the Wandering Emperor? Like, Wandering Emperor is good at cleaning up once I stop what they're trying to do, but she doesn't help me get there. What's my other cut if I want 2 forces back? Do I want 2 forces back? No, I do not. I'm going back in with the same idea. A Ponder, a creature that deletes itself. I'll keep this. Prismatic Ending's pretty good. I don't have the Swords to Plowshares, which is the card that they've been blind naming with Therapy. I might actually lead on Archive, just to plant the seed of white. Archive actually makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not holding up anything. I'm not pondering for anything specifically here. Knight of the Rel on top. We got to win somehow. Tap land. Wasteland? Tap land meet Wasteland? There's a lot of free entombs in this deck. Yep, Bloodghast. Yep, free money. I'm still going to Wasteland pretty aggressively here. Ponder. Surgical Extraction. Yes, please. All right. Don't shuffle. I'm going to stop in their draw step. And I'm going to clip their Bloodghast after they've drawn for turn. Surgically my Wastelands, that's so fucking funny. Sure, you can have the other one. That does shuffle away the 2 lands I left on top of my deck, which I actually want. But then they also see the Surgical that's in my hand. The problem with waiting until Bloodghast triggers on the stack to see if there's something better to exile is if it's a fetch land, they could just fetch in response and keep it. If it's an island, they can daze. I take Bloodghast in your draw step, give you 1 more draw step to try to put one in your hand for the maximum blowout. No such luck. What is going on in this deck? We've got 2 Dazes, 2 Force of Wills, 4 Careful Study, 4 Gak, 3 Bridge, 3 Altar, Colors, Thoughtseizes, multiple Surgicals. They do have Cabal Therapy in their hand, and they just looked at mine. So that's going to hit, if that's what they choose to do this turn. All right, Bloodghasts are gone. They'll probably Therapy naming Prismatic Ending to clear the way for a Hedron Crab next turn. Yep, there it is. I no longer know that I'm drawing a land, which might be good. With the Prismatic Ending gone, my hand is a bit worse. Wow, they're more worried about Knight of the Reliquary? Sweet. So they're betting on Hedron Crab, milling 6, hitting a free creature, and then therapying me with that instead? Ooh. Ooh. What Hedron Crab? I don't know anything about it. Absolutely spiking this thing. This means I'm playing without green mana, but that's the cost of doing business. Counter target spell if it's blue. Their hands is two lands, Hogak, and 1 unknown. All right, deck, time to draw a land. All right, well, as far as non-land cards go, I'll take it. Are we going to see an Undercity Sewer, or are they going to bank this land drop for something that might care about that? Basic Swamp, okay. Okay, the Delta's in, and Hogak just rotting over there. 3 drops. 3-drop theme deck over here. That's the Bant control experience. Yeah, that Surgical taking the Wastelands out of my deck, almost irrelevant. However, that Surgical shuffling the lands off the top of my deck, insane. They know I have Prismatic Ending in my hand and ran out this Altar with no action. All right, don't daze me, bro. I'm going to fire this because I can't risk them having it. Cool. Cabal Therapy. All right. Do they know about Endurance? I don't think so. They know about Uro and Teferi, but there are 2 Uros. We have seen Dryad Arbor in the deck, so 1 black creature convokes Hogak and suddenly is in play. And you can Hogak from hand. They named Teferi. That would have bounced the Hogak. Good idea. All right, Hogak 1 unknown over there. Dryad Arbor could also fetch out and immediately cast a Cabal Therapy, but I don't know that they have the juice to do that. I think they need that Dryad Arbor for other stuff. Through a Noble Hierarch, I can't cast. Timeline Color. Okay. That is in. If they fetch, I have to Endurance them in response. All right, fetch, pitching. I think I pitch one of the Uros. Yeah, I gotta sweep this stuff up before it casts Hogak. And there's no opportunity to respond once the Dryad Arbor's in play. There it is. If they can get 5 more cards between creatures and in their graveyard, then Hogak can arrive. Jesus. All right, yeah, I basically just need to do anything, but now I'm also taking 3 damage per turn. Doing anything seems to be a big ask here. Shit. That's just Hogak, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 1 short. All right. Bad news. Cabal Therapy. Well, that's Hogak. The Cabal Therapy will net 2 cards in the graveyard. This was exactly what they need, and that appears to be game. And I guess I could rip Swords to Plowshares and deal with the Gak, because I'm not under a lot of pressure otherwise. All right, they still name Swords to Plowshares. Still scared of that one more than anything else. Still don't have it. But I have... They are all in my deck, and I have cantrips to find them. I have lots of good draws here. We're still pretty far from dead. And they can play Gak, leaving Cabal Therapy in the graveyard. Yeah, there he is. 8, 9, 10, 11. Dead in 2 hits. All right, deck. Green source, Swords to Plowshares. Ponder. All right, Ponder finds Swords to Plowshares. A green source which plays Knight of the Reliquary. All right, I actually have to do math now. So if I play Noble Hierarch this turn, take 11, I'm at 4. Next turn, play Uro. I go to 7. I'm still dead. Yikes. Yeah, I'm going to have to shuffle this. The Caracas isn't in my graveyard for me to loam it back. That would be too easy. That might not even be enough here. Is there anything else to do with my mana here? Oh, if I play Loam, Dredge Loam, I'm still dead. Yeah, if I take the Savannah, play Loam, pick up Misty Rainforest, Dredge Loam, it's Night, Grove, blank. And unless that blank is Caracas, I'm dead to that as well. There's no more draw steps in between. Yeah, I think I just got to shuffle here. 1 turn too late, or else this would have been a perfect spread when there wasn't an 8-8 killing me. Shuffle. Tundra. Hell yeah, another non-green source. And now I think it's too late to do anything. I guess I'm technically at 1 if I top deck Swords to Plowshares. I'm at 1 with 1 more turn to play. If I draw a green source, I could evoke Uro, gain 3, and spike Swords to Plowshares. I could also just Cabal Therapy me here. But what would you even take? None of these cards matter. Like Therapy, putting color in the graveyard, they can hit me with the color all the same next turn. That doesn't actually matter. Just full access to that guy. All right, big rips. Stock up. If this hits white source, Swords to Plowshares. And it has to be Savannah straight up because I can't afford to fetch. I hate you, deck. I hate you so much. I hate you. Delete your account. All right, yep. A fetchable white source and the plow is here, but that fetch puts me to exactly 3, and it's over. All right, cool matchup against a sweet deck. Ran pretty bad for about 7 consecutive turns there, but I mean, if you don't deliver, they will come for you eventually. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I will keep this turn 2 Teferi business. Opponent also kept 7. I'm going to go Tropical Island for Noble Hierarch. Tapped Meticulous Archive, okay. It's the mirror match. Or dump Tameo. Right, I definitely don't play that card. There's a lot of decks my opponent could be on right now. Do I want to respect days out of a Meticulous Archive strategy? Shoving this Teferi is just so nasty if it hits. Alright, Volcanic Island Teferi. Let's game. If they have Force of Will, it doesn't matter when I did this. Alright, Force pitching Murktide Regent. Alright, you got it. A Meticulous Archive Murktide Regent deck. It's just like generic Esper Tempo. Swords to Plowshares. Okay. I used my white mana when I needed it. This could be a Stoneforge Mystic deck. That would be cool. and Ponder. All right. They must have needed a land because dumping Tamiyo ever feels like a desperate move, especially this early in the game. Like if their hand was lands and they were looking for spells, they probably keep that Tamiyo because it's one of the better spells there is. Loam. Oh my god. Ponder, please find me a wasteland right now. Night Uro. All right, I like all this shit. I'm going to go Misty Rainforest, Uro, Night. Don't shuffle. Hedge Maze, dump the Uro for free. Entomb resolves. Cast Ponder. Force of Will. Well, I can't play that card. I don't actually want any of this. Shuffle. Another Night. Cool. All right, weird game. I hope this is actually a fair matchup of some variety. If they like stuff out a Dreadnought this turn, that's not great. If they resolve an Up the Beanstalk, that's not great. That would be consistent with a Murktide Regent deck in these colors. Just there might be more colors in their deck still. I don't want to play against Up the Beanstalk, I'll be honest. Unless I draw Wasteland right now. Then I'm interested. Okay, this does not represent Beanstalk mana. It is Tamiyo. They've already drawn 3 cards this turn. Big Rips, Endurance. Okay, I could just cast Uro right now. Fetch for Tundra, cast Uro. I could play Night. I'm going to go Uro. I've got exactly what I need for that. They didn't have Daze 2 turns ago. Hope they don't have it now. Swords to Plowshares is a 2-for-1. If he just resolves, that's the best of all worlds. All right, Uro's in play. Pass. I can pitch cast an Endurance if I want to do that. I've seen Murktide Regent in their deck. Huh. All right, well, there's that one. Confirmed it's there. I think I'd rather have Endurance as a creature that could bother Tamiyo than anything else. Oh, fuck. Karakas, no. My greatest nemesis. All right, well, this matchup's going to take 55 minutes, regardless of the outcome. All right, I'm going to dedicate my efforts to finding Wasteland this turn, whatever that looks like. A play Ponder using a green. None of this is Wasteland. I could hit my land drop, play Teferi, see what's going on. All right, I'm not going to shuffle. I lied to you about the Wasteland. I'm playing Teferi instead. It did resolve. Meticulous Archive, clear the Noble Hierarch I don't want off the top of my deck. And then Teferi can bounce Tamiyo. Or would I rather bounce a Clue? Nah, Tamiyo. Okay. Pass the turn. It's a weird position where the board is stable and my opponent has up the Beanstalk and Tamiyo, yet I don't feel completely dead. Another Beanstalk. Decking them might actually be my plan now. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. Quantum Rizzler. All right, well, this draws 80,000 cards. All right, their hand has 7 cards in it now. But this will go to the Warp Zone. They still have a land drop. I'm glad Tamiyo wasn't in play when all that happened. Okay, I've untapped with Teferi Time Raveler available. Brainstorm. All right. That is looks for Wasteland, which I am now very interested in. This is more white mana than I could possibly need in a turn. I'll start with Brainstorm using Tundra. P-Fire. Oh my god. I don't think that's what I want. I'm going to put back Fire and maybe one of the Knights, I guess. And then fetch. Savannah's the only fetchable left. Good, 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 good. That's great. Brainstorm using Tropical Island. I still have Uro that can advance my plan here. Oh, Dak. What's up, Dak? Okay, I'm going to put back... This just became very strange. All right, I know they have Tamiyo in hand. Swords to Plowshares is cool there. I'm not committed to anything yet here. I can still Dak and see all these same cards again. If Dak is what I want to do, which I'm not convinced it is. Dak plus Loam next turn is big. Okay, Plow, and do I want to Uro or do I want to Dak this turn is the important thing. I think I'm going to just put Uro directly into the graveyard. All right, I'll put these 2 back. I'll cast Dak. Red, blue, colorless. Dak target me is going to put Uro directly into my graveyard. Get rid of Uro and Life from the Loam. It's a freebie, except on the matter of clock. Actually, I'll discard Savannah because Loam will pick that up next turn. And I'm going to Ponder. I'm just using all my cards. Wasteland is my victory condition here. Force of Will, still no blue card. Prismatic Ending can clear Tamiyo, who is very likely to flip this turn. I'm still going to shuffle this. I want Wasteland. All right, 5-color, Leyline Binding, confirmed. Tamiyo's in. Any spell flips it, including that one. Who do they want? Teferi or Dak? This is actually a interesting choice. It's probably Teferi because their deck's built around Force of Will. Yep. There goes that one. And now the game is much harder. Oh, they'll just have them both, please and thank you. Okay, I mean, decking them is still dead-ass my plan. If they draw half their deck with Tamiyo, that's just twice the damage done with Up the Beanstalk. Like, they do have to actually be able to win. Brainstorm, 29 cards left in the deck. I love when the game becomes about something completely wrong and stupid. And we also both have to be mindful of our clocks here. I need to respect Murktide Region as a win condition. Pyroblast, kind of hot. Brainstorm, please find Wasteland. I'm still interested. Still not there. Noble Hierarch goes away, and can I risk them having... All right, I will float a Swords to Plowshares on top. What I'm worried about is Force of Negation, exiling my life from the loam. Felia. Okay, that resolves. Then I'm going to Swords to Plowshares immediately while the Caracas is tapped down. Cool. And I kind of want to Endurance them so they don't Murktide, but Murktide I have Pyroblast to kill in play and Plow on top of my deck. And if decking them's the plan, let's fucking go. The Plow on top of my deck. Can I afford to look at that again? How are they going to win? I don't know. I am going to Flooded Strand looking at no fetchables. How is this possible? Well, that's embarrassing. Okay. God damn it. Okay. And I drew the card. I tried to shuffle away too. That's not how that's supposed to work. All right. Well, Life from the Loam is now my only plan. Hey, that's that card I said. I'm going to Pyroblast it. I'm sure they have other interaction here, but it's all serving a purpose. Cracking Clue in response. All right, Loam's back on the stack. Happy with that. Fetching. Do they have Mystic Sanctuary? Buy back the Force. Draw a card somehow? No, they don't? Okay, good. Well, I know I'm out of fetchables, so what the hell? White, green, colorless, Knight of the Rail, and Noble Hierarch. Let's get my cards out there. Felia. Hate that. Okay. And I am now F6'd. I am grinding back my clock equity while hoping they deck themselves. There's still a Riddler in Warp from earlier that they can grab at any point, but that does draw 3 cards, whether they like it or not. 5 mana in the pool. Or a Solitude deck. That's bad for me. That's a reasonable win condition. Felia is getting in, probably going to flicker Solitude. We're on kind of a fun level system with these decks. I think that the deck I'm playing is kind of messy into the metagame. However, it's messy in a way that lines up against the top decks. Like we did Beatstorm. We had competitive games versus combo. We beat Cloudpost. Like that's a lot of crazy stuff going on. All right, well, I mean, I did want that card. Wasteland, target Caracas. Probably should have played Uro first, so they didn't know. Green, green, blue, blue. I'm out of red cards. Cast Uro. Expect a Force of Will. Didn't have it. They do have Swords to Plowshares, though. Sure. I'm now not going to Dredge Loam. I will put this land into play for basically no reason. And I'll pass the turn. I'll finish that thought. I think this deck is messy, but kind of considered with its flex slots, like the 1 Pyroblast and the 2 Wastelands, like all those things. However, my opponent's deck, while even messier into the metagame, is really good against my deck. I think they are favored in this environment. All right. Endurance. Is there any chance that this can eat Felia in combat? I am actually going to endure myself, and I am going to use the target. I don't want to have to click through Life from the Loam every draw step. I accept Swords to Plowshares. It's life gain. They did not ultimate Tamiyo, which tells me that they know decking is the way they lose this game. Ponder. Didn't shuffle. Felia brings back Beanstalk. There's still 21 cards in the deck. I think they're going to be okay. Caracas! Eat shit, Felia. That's going to waste a lot of time. Right, bounce Felia and then F6. Did it on their turn so they can't flash it in the end step. Casting the Rizzler from exile. Draws 3 cards. Not a legend. I don't play a Supreme Verdict. Right, 17 cards in their deck versus 22 life, and they have 7 power. I'm not winning the race. I need some removal spells, and I need them to resolve. They could be using Tamiyo to pad their hand, but I guess their hand is probably already perfect. There's 10 cards in it. Discarded Felia, Ponder up the Beanstalk. Right, I'll play out a Noble Hierarch. That can block. All right, I am just going to block immediately. This is not going to get any better. I have taken the lead on the game clock, which I'm not really playing to, but I am aware of. That's a real one. Play the Knight. And I will play out this Misty Rainforest because I can make my Knight bigger, even if there's nothing to fetch. Another Solitude? You got me. Sick. All right. That draws 2 cards. 14 cards left in the deck. Going to be 13 in a moment. Fetching here is a wash because I get nothing out of it, but I do gain the life back from the Knight getting bigger. Okay, I see 2 Solitudes, at least 1 Felia. There's probably more than one of those. I'm going to be bringing in Force of Vigor and Pyroblast for sure. Already planning the sideboard games. And this is exactly lethal. That corner turns quick. I'm up about 1:30 on my clock, down a game. Wandering Emperor actually looks okay. Force of Vigor hits Beanstalks and Leyline Bindings. I don't think I want Consign. I definitely want Pyroblast. Punishing Fire actually would have been, in fact, Fire there. Just kill the Solitudes, kill the Felias forever, and really hard to interact with. I'm going to shave Hierarchs, because if they have sweepers or good removal, like a Wrath of the Skies or anything, would just take that for free with it, and I think the game's long enough that I can hit my land drops. Wasteland's going to be very important here. Swords to Plowshares, kind of mid. Flusterstorm could win a clutch stack battle. Ghost Vacuum, that stops Murktide Regent, but not really anything else. I'm not doing that. All right, here we go. These are my decisions. I'm living with them. Keep. I'm not in a hurry to ponder here. I'll just get set up with the Hedge Maze. Keep Brainstorm. Pass. Misty Rainforest. I can interact with Tamiyo if they play one. Carpet of Flowers. That's so much worse. Yeah, it's fun that I'm this like Bant X deck with no Veil of Summer or Carpet of Flowers in the sideboard. Those are cards I tend to reach for first when I'm building decks like this. But if those aren't the matchups you're worried about, like if you think you just beat tempo anyway, but Veil of Summer, we're not very good against combo. Okay. I'm going to Brainstorm. I do have a lot of lands in my deck that aren't islands though. Put back Trop, and I think I'm going to put back Plow for now. And I'll get Windswept Heath and pass. Oh shit, I should have played Scalding Tarn. This damn Pyroblast interacting with the one Windswept Heath gets me every time. Yeah, resolved like Teferi or some shit I can't beat. All right, Felia. There's a Plow on top of my deck. For that, I'll just redraw it. It's fine. The Karak is super annoying. Okay, Ponder. Another Ponder. Sure, I will take that for now. Play the Scalding Tarn, and I'm going to fetch a Savannah and just pass the turn. Depending on what there is to flicker with Felia, I may or may not care about her. I could just take 2 for a little bit. But if they play a Beanstalk or anything, I'm going to interact. All right, fetching big mana here. There's room for a basic land in your deck. I'm so jealous. The Quantum Riddler. Okay. I'm going to try to Pyroblast that. Volk. P-Blast. That fizzles what Felia would like to do this turn, as well as takes out a future win condition. And if I plow Felia now, they just bounce it back, but that is a clear turn. No, I'm going to let Felia cook. They bounce their own carpet, which won't come back the end step, so I don't have to worry about a second round of mana but that does make Felia bigger. There we go. That's the shit I was waiting for. That is exactly why I didn't plow. I thought to myself, your deck has Wasteland. Settle down, bro. And lo and behold. All right, Swords to Plowshares. Brainstorm in response. Digging for that action. Searching for stability in this hostile world. Couldn't find it. Ponder. Another plow and a bunch of lands. No thank you. Shuffle that. Another Uro. All right, game on. Carpet of Flowers doing the most. Just going to start dumping beanstalks on me, probably. Yep, there it is. And now the game spirals out. If you think back a couple years, people wanted Up the Beanstalk banned from Legacy, which sounds crazy right now because it's been so long since a mid-range deck was even like pretended to be viable. All right, blue, red, colorless for Dak, leaving up Volcanic Island. At least make them think about Pyroblast. Dak myself discard 2 Uros. Oh my god. The P-Fire is here. Unlikely to matter, but it is here. I hope they don't have any graveyard hate of any kind, ever. Blue in the pool, and then didn't use it. That's interesting. Like, even if there's nothing to cast, you could at least crack your clue with its second main. Weird. Sometimes if you have nothing to do with Carpet of Flowers in a fast matchup on Magic Online, you make mana turn 1, or like upfront, because that trigger matters. But yeah, casting Brainstorm and having a clue, like, that's just 2 mana you don't have in second main to do any of that stuff. Tamiyo plus. Punishing Fire versus Tamiyo is actually the battle of the century. And I already have the Grove. Ooh, well. All right, I'm going to target myself with Dak. Discard Meticulous Archive and Punishing Fire. That's the point. It'll be back. Prismatic End this Tamiyo. Fetching in response. Cracking a clue. If they force, I will force back. Even though I'm losing the exchange, it's still important to remove Tamiyo from play. And then green, blue, fetch Tundra, cast Uro. Green, have to ignore that trigger, blue, exile a bunch of things that aren't Punishing Fire or lands. It is a little awkward that with Endurances in my deck in a matchup this long, I'm kind of incentivized to actually exile lands instead of cards I might want to draw again in the future. But Life from the Loam and Knight of the Reliquary care so much. In Life from the Loam, you can leave exactly 3 lands and just pick the best 3 and it's fine. But Knight of the Reliquary being 3/3 on turn 10 instead of 9/9 sucks real bad. We've got a Hardcast Solitude from the help of Carpet of Flowers. Guess what that dies to, though? Punishing Fire, baby! And then if I get a Dak emblem, Dak can steal Murktide Regents in the late game. Right, opponent's just doing stuff. Tamiyo's in play. Here's Ponder. This Ponder will flip this Tamiyo. Dak actually steals Tamiyo next turn, which is crazy. But, I mean, obviously they have Leyline Bindings in their deck. If they see it coming. Dang it! Hate my life. Hate it here. Okay. I'm going to start with a Ponder. Do I need to kill Solitude? No. All right. So I'm actually going to Ponder, then probably cast Knight of the Reliquary. Teferi, I do not hate. All right, I will keep this action here. Don't shuffle, play Knight. Demonstrate the ability to return Punishing Fire to my hand, which can deal with Solitude. 7/7. Here's Felia. Punishing Fire also hits that. Up the Beanstalk. And I've actually set up Teferi plus Punishing Fire is exactly the amount of mana I have. And their Karakas is already dead. They just bought back Force of Will to their hand. Okay. End of turn. You gain 1 life. Yes, I would like Punishing Fire in my hand. Then I'll go to my turn. And I'm going to cast Teferi. Blue, colorless, white. Hopefully this flushes out the Force, and then Punishing Fire kills Felia. Then Knight of the Reliquary attacks Tamiyo, and they have to block with Solitude. That's what I want to happen here. Okay, Force of Will. In response to the 2 Beanstalks, fire Felia when she's a 2/2. Now you get to draw cards, and I'm going to attack Tamiyo. Is that worth more or less than a Solitude in play? Solitude in play, more valuable. Opponent has decided. even though I could Punishing Fire that next turn. Ponder. If there's a land on top of my deck, I could fire Solitude and play... Oh no, I'm drawing Brainstorm. I know it's on top of my deck. Never mind. I take it back. I am currently living on the Puncher's chance. They have more mana, more cards than me. They're doing everything that they want to do in life. But I have large creatures in play. But now they do too. And my large creature's gone. Oh no. All right. Never mind. My Puncher's chance is gone. My opponent saw my punches coming. They gain life, which triggers Punishing Fire, which I don't have the mana to get back. Okay, Brainstorm using one of the whites. I probably should have returned Punishing Fire first. Okay, Force of Will, aggro on that. Pitching Spell Pierce, okay. Fetching. Meticulous Archive after drawing a bunch of cards. My Brainstorm's countered, you got me. Knight of the Reliquary in. I guess I should have left Volcanic Island up because they're going to gain life with Solitude anyway. I gave them an extra life. I hope they beat me at 1 life now. I deserve it. Quantum Riddler. This is the full cast with Carpet of Flowers mana. We've seen 2 Solitudes in their deck, so they have inevitability here as long as they don't deck themselves first. Which, with this much power in play, seems unlikely. Ponder. Looking at fully 1/7 of your deck. Those are good odds. Didn't shuffle. That's so unlucky for me. They appear to be setting up another Murktide, which would make the first Murktide a 2-hit wonder. Not quite 2 hits, but very big. All right, I'm just going to return Punishing Fire to my hand, and then F6. A 12/12. I've got a 7/7. That's not a small amount of life to gain. Pitching Solitude, exiling Felia. They don't even want Knight to untap once. I guess something like Maze of Ith could harsh their vibe. I don't have that, but they don't know that. All right, in for 15. My 34 life points quickly down to below my starting number. Force of Vigor, nice of you to show up. Does Dak Faden help me here? It does not. I probably have to just cast Uro. And now I should probably just be exiling lands and stuff. It doesn't matter. Uro's on the stack. It's life gain, it's a blocker. They got Force of Will. And they got way more than 19 damage to play. All right, yeah, completely cooked. This matchup feels really bad. They're kind of like my deck, but focused on coherent engines rather than good vibes. There it is. This was the 4-color Punishing Bant deck. I honestly don't know if Jesse put a ton of work into this and all of these numbers make perfect sense for exactly what he was trying to do, or if this was just, come out of Magic retirement, good vibes, play at Eternal Weekend because it's there. I don't know. Like, maybe this deck is a masterpiece and criticizing it would be ignorant of me. Maybe it is just vibes. And if it was just vibes, then there's clearly a lot of math we could do and figure out how to make mana cast our spells better, and pretty like stock expected things in the sideboard like Veil of Summer and Carpet of Flowers that I mentioned throughout the league are not present here. We did see the deck fire. We got to Punishing Fire. We got to recur it with Grove of the Burn Willows. We had one opponent straight up concede to that. We also had Dak Faden, who every game he showed up, he was really good at making my hand good. I discarded a lot of Uros to Dak Faden. That's the cheats. I also mulliganed a lot of hands because 1/3 of the mana base doesn't cast Ponder. I also fetched multiple times expecting a land to be in my deck and it wasn't. That's on me for not tracking that, but also I don't know if the fetch lands can be balanced better or if we just run the risks that we run where some can't get some. And I just happened to have the one Windswept Heath when I needed the one Volcanic Island like 4 different times in this league. I'm not going to judge that too harshly. This deck has immaculate vibes. It takes me back to a simpler time. I would not register it for Eternal Weekend myself, but Jesse is braver than me. Nick, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I had a blast playing it. Jesse, thank you for making it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.